chatting to.
Welcome back to Dudes on Dudes Fighting. I'm Robert John, and this is my co-host Stu.
What's up, people?
We,
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
So-
I don't know how
yeah.
the fans of our loyal podcast fans, I don't know how they're doing, but I'm doing great, Stu.
Yeah. Of all, what are we on? 4 unreleased episodes?
No, they're all up now. They're released.
Oh, they are? Oh,
Yeah,
that's sick.
yeah,
Awesome.
they're
Hello,
released.
fans.
They're all
We
released.
we finally get to talk to you guys. Oh, I'm excited, man. That's awesome.
It's a real deal now.
Yeah, fucking all 8 people are gonna be so
I
hyped.
think there's more than 8. Like, I think we got some,
No,
two-digit
15.
numbers, completely,
Oh man.
unadvertised, secret.
Yeah, we haven't pushed it at all.
No, we just snuck it out.
Yeah, I just can't wait until like 13 people listen to 2 episodes and listen to us about Weidman and Luke Rockhold. So if you go back a couple episodes, teaser, those guys get the shit from us.
The most.
Um, so this past weekend, UFC Fight Night Argentina, we had Neil Magny versus Santiago Ponzanibio. Do you want to? I think last episode we kind of just covered the top 3 fights and then kind of mentioned the Cynthia Calvillo fight as well. So
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because
that
she
weight
had a
cut.
fucking struggled cutting weight, yeah. And we
Yeah, I
talked
felt
about
bad
that.
for her.
I think, like, we're really, we know our sport, man. We talked
I
about that weight
call.
cut hard last week, and fact
Yeah,
became reality. She
and
looked
I
horrible.
called the submission too. I
You
think
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I've actually followed her career, um, because she was with whatchamacallit, where all the short guys fight out of what's that camp called?
Alpha male.
Where yeah, because for 2 seconds I liked Alpha Male until it became a complete debacle on Tough, and they all made themselves look like assholes. Like, if you go back and watch that season of Tough, you're just like, oh, these guys are the guys I hated in high school.
Yeah. But they're
And not
not
because they
even those
bullied
they're
me.
not even those guys though, because these guys are all like 130 pounds. They're
Yeah, I
like
know.
like the national collection of like the 7th guy of that group of guys that bullied you. Like the little guy in the
Yeah,
back. It's all the little guy in the back, and they all live together on the same street.
I love Chad Mendez, though. But he's not one of those, he's not like one of the vocal guys out there. But,
No,
like,
they're a good
he,
team. Like, I like Uriah
yeah.
Faber, but I
No,
watched him.
same. I'm a huge fan. I feel like it's just when they get together.
Yeah, they just don't wear shirts ever, and they're all just like hanging out.
But to go back to Calvillo before we get into the weight cut, did she leave Alpha Male? Because her coach, I noticed, was the coach that recently left Alpha Male. He used to be the head coach there, and
Yeah,
now apparently they have like 8 head coaches. And I saw him on Ariel's show, like kind of trashing the gym, and he was in her corner. So I'm thinking maybe she left
she
Alpha Male
might.
too.
Maybe she's like doing the Dillashaw thing, like following the coach. Alpha male can't
Go
hold a coach down.
No, apparently they got 8 coaches and it's just a complete shit show over there. But like the reason why I did love Alpha Male is because, like, and probably for the same reason with you, you're a smaller guy, I'm a smaller guy, and they brought up all those small guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and Dillashaw, one of my favorites.
Love Dillashaw.
Mendez is a fun fighter to watch. I
Joseph
like.
Benavidez is great.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I was bummed we didn't get to see him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Calvillo's weight cut. Fuck, man, she
Brutal.
looked rough on the
Brutal.
scale there. So what do you think it is? Do you think she needs to move up to 125? I mean, it was 3 pounds, but she's short. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I don't think it matters if she was off by 1 pound and she looked the way she looked. Like, she could barely stand up unassisted.
Yeah,
Like, for the
yeah.
5 seconds it takes for her to stand there and take, the weight measurement, like, she was gonna fall down. She had to keep grabbing the thing. If you can't even
Mm-hmm.
stand still for 5 seconds because you're so fucked up, like, you shouldn't be fighting at all that weekend. Like, commission should have said, like, okay, no, and
Yeah,
then
and a
move up.
lot of people online are saying that like she just put it on to get like she just pretended like it so that people would feel sorry for her and shit. But like that looked legit, man. Like it looked like she was fucked, and like she had like she said last time when she almost missed weight that she was willing to shave her head.
Yeah,
So, like, she's having trouble with that weight cut. I don't know if she's got to find a new nutritionist or if she's got to move up. But like, she's a good fighter. Like, I think. I mean, there's tough fights at the top of the 125-pound division for the women. But there's also tough fights at the top of 115. So I think she stacks up the same way in either one of those divisions. If she's not going to have to kill herself to make the weight, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I could see her moving up because she looked fucking great in the fight. But
Yeah, she looked fine.
yeah,
The women's
I
divisions,
don't
all
know.
of them are pretty fucked, though.
Mm-hmm.
UFC has to do something about, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Not enough girls, too many divisions. So we see this a lot. People just like jumping up and down divisions, and it's really
Yeah.
hard for the fans to like keep track of who's who, and if it's not a title fight, like nobody cares just because there's so many title
Yeah.
fights. Like that's all there is.
And I think their problem with the women's division is they don't. Okay, so when I started watching the UFC, they built up fighters, and there was some method to it.
Yeah.
Now they throw these girls and guys in who, if they look great in their first fight, they throw them against a fucking like an animal veteran in their second fight. So it's like Calvilo last year was headlining a card, and now she's the first fight on this card, and barely making weight. So it's like they're not promoting properly here.
Yeah.
Something's gone janky. It's like I mean, it's gone so entertainment that it's lost. I mean, I love that it's completely fucking crazy, but I also like. I wish that there was more structure to it, just so you knew who the next guy was, and like you didn't have to just know 3 girls and 3 guys in each weight class. Like we know a little bit more, but I mean, even looking at last week's card, we were like, who the fuck are these guys? Because they don't promote anybody
No. There's
except for
too many
the
cards.
upper one. Yeah,
There's not enough
that-
time to promote anything. Even like earlier today, we were talking about, oh, what are we going to talk about this week? And it's like next week's show, or like every weekend there's a
Yeah.
fucking card. And
Well, that's the thing. Like when you called me today, I was thinking that we would talk about last week's card and then get into this fucking weirdo Tito versus Chuck 3 thing over at Golden Boy, and then you're like, yo, there's a card this weekend, and it's actually sick. And then I was just like, there's been a card every week that we've been doing this podcast, and we've been doing it 4 weeks in a row.
yeah. And
That's insane.
every week I don't know there's a card until I think like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And I look, I'm like, oh, there is. And it's got some sick fights on it. But there's no time to promote it because they're just way too often.
But I mean, so on the Apple TV, there's the UFC app, but there's like no content on it.
Right.
Like they should be putting more marketing dollars into that app on Apple TV, because I always go on it and like I watch the embeddeds, or like I know it's a lot of work to film that, but like that shit is what gets you excited for the fights. Like there was a 2-minute clip about the upcoming fight versus Blade and Ngannou. How do you say his name?
Ngannou.
Ngannou. Anyways,
I think embedded is sweet, but they rely on it too much. I was more into what the other one was called. I don't remember. It's like
the 24/7 boxing one that they did.
Yeah. It has a name for it, and they'd put it out maybe like a week or two, maybe 3 weeks before. Maybe it was just called like Countdown to the show, and they do the main event and the co-main.
Well, they still do the countdown to the show, but then they also do embedded. But like the countdown to the show, they show they headline the top 2, and then they show a little bit of like the up and comers on the card, which is fantastic because you actually care. But there's too many cards, and they can't produce enough content, so it's a fucking mess. So then you have shit like this come up this week where we're like, oh, there's a card. If there was a countdown about it a week ago, we'd know everything about this card coming up. You know?
I think that's it. The countdown came out early enough that you got to be excited. And for me, embedded is sweet when it's like someone I love, like DC. I want to see what he does all week. But it's so like reality TV, like just like sometimes nothing happens, and I have to like, why did I just watch this? There's like 4 minutes of nothing, and that counts as like a hyping the fight. It's like I'm not hyped after watching that. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
it was someone going to the airport and then going to a restaurant and then back to the hotel, and it's over, and it's like what? I don't give a shit.
And they all say the same shit, like, "Oh, they're gonna see what happens on Saturday."
Yeah,
like,
my weight cut's on point. I've never felt so good.
Yeah, and they miss weight.
Yeah.
So, who were your picks for? So, anything else you want to add to the Calvilo?
No.
Thing. I don't really care, man. I really hope that she. I think she's an exciting fighter, and like she's won most of her fights by submission, and the last fight that she did lose like in a decision, it could have went her way too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that I could see her actually, if she could really like hunker down, get the weight on point, like I could see her being like the upper echelon of that division. It's just like fucking get your shit together. I mean, and like I know it's not just on her, but I don't know. Weight cutting's such a weird issue it's a never-ending conversation.
I don't feel like of all the divisions, like it should be a problem with the women either, because there's so many divisions. There's one every 10 pounds, and there's not that many girls. Like I feel like that's you're a 125er and there's 4 people between you and the title. Like, why can't you just, but everyone just wants a title. And I think that's also the UFC's fault, that pretty much the only time a women's fight makes a main card is if it's for a title. So these gals are just doing whatever they can to like get a title fight. And sometimes they have these horrible weight cuts.
Yeah. And I feel like it's, well, the promoters almost like frown upon people moving up weight classes.
Yeah.
You know, where it should be like, well, if that's like comfortable where they fight, it's like look at Frankie Edgar, for example. Like, apparently his nutritionist was saying that he could get Frankie down to 125 easy. It's just Frankie likes fighting at his weight. You know, he feels strong at that weight. Like, I don't know. There's I just don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't want to see fights get canceled. And I also like there's an asterisk on the win if you're fighting. like Mackenzie Dern style, like 10 pounds over.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what? She won, but she was nowhere near weight.
No.
Like, it's just
Definitely
like,
is.
it's not part of the rules.
Yeah, that is not a division. That's a full catch weight fight, fantasy league.
So do you want to jump
One thing
to
I wanna jump
yeah,
to
yeah.
Johnny Walker. He got the
Yes,
first
that's
round
what I was gonna
knockout,
say.
and he has a photo
Yeah.
on the UFC website now.
Really? He still doesn't on mine.
My UFC website, he's got a photo.
Dude,
That's what you
I
gotta
did
do.
not. He didn't speak very good English, did he?
No, he's like Brazilian or something.
I did not see that coming. Like even the way he looked, like I thought like we were gonna get like a sweet like crazy southern accent out
Yeah,
of
he's
him
got a
or
Mike
something.
Perry vibe, but
Yeah, but that elbow, like,
yeah,
and then just straight ground and pound, it was really impressive.
yeah,
He definitely deserves a picture
he's
now.
got it. He's earned his photo on the website.
He performance of the night. Who'd you have in that one?
I think we both picked Johnny Walker just because of the name.
Yeah, but you were doing opposite picks
Yeah, I
last
forgot what
week.
the opposites all were. So I guess I picked Roundtree due to opposite.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's
you
fun.
can't. You still can't win. So if this is your first time listening, RJ is the worst picker ever. So
Yep,
last week he picked complete opposite of what
my gut
he
told
thought
me.
was gonna happen,
Yeah,
and
I still got it
so
wrong.
far he's blowing it. But yeah, that was a hell of a fight, and I'm excited to see uh, more of his fights coming up. Like he definitely made a good
Oh, he's on the
impression.
map now. Yeah, of course. First round
Yeah, for
knockout.
sure. Yeah, and just the way it was too, the elbow to the temple, and like he kind of checked the kick while kicking at the same time,
Yeah,
and then hit him with the elbow, and then just straight ground and pound. And I think Roundtree was even out just after the elbow.
yeah,
Like, but the ref did get in there to stop it
yep.
reasonably.
It was good.
You
It
know?
was a fair fight.
Yeah,
Let's look at Darren Elkins and Ricardo Lamas.
the damage.
I didn't see. I originally picked Elkins, but then due to reverse Bizarro picks, I ended up with Lamas. So I got this one right. Hats off to
Hey.
me, but that was a good fight. Elkins is so sick.
Yeah, man. That like I was kind of sad to see him lose. I had my buddy Luke, you know Luke,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
fucking 8 foot tall Luke, and my girlfriend, and then Luke's friend over, and like Luke was just so obsessed with the damage because backstory, we have a friend named Hubley,
Yeah.
Brian
I
Hubley,
think I know him.
your former roommate. Um, he he lied to his parents when he went to university and said
Is
that
he
he
going
was.
under the bus right now?
Oh, I'm complete. No. It all came out, but
Okay.
this is like how the story happened. So all summer we were hanging out in Luke's garage, and every night, like he went to university, and then he failed out and told his parents that he was going back, and all summer he didn't tell them, and slowly throughout the summer, his hair was falling out and falling out and falling out. He didn't tell them till the day that they were loading the van that he was fucking kicked out of school. And so every time he would come over, because he always wears a beanie, you never catch
Yeah,
him
yeah.
without his hat on, and I go, yo, Hubs, what's the damage? So Luke was just laughing so hard that that guy's name was the Damage, because we call Hubley the Damage now.
So Hubley needs to get a chest tattoo.
Yeah, he needs to get that same chest tattoo. All right, weird tangent there. But
Great
yeah,
tangent.
fucking
I didn't
great
know that
fight.
story. I know a lot of awesome Hubley stories, but I did not know that one.
Yeah, we'll probably share a few more
I can share one real quick.
over this. Hit me.
We had an awesome summer of blowing things up in the front yard. Full at like 28 years old. Like we are not children anymore.
with a huge apartment across the street, like just people everywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's not a low key
No,
place
we're
that you guys used
downtown,
to
busy city, and we'd take like a coffee can out and fill it with like lighter fluid or something, and then put a bottle of hairspray in it, and then just like light a match and run away. And it would just explode so loud and blow flaming like shaving cream all over the place, like napalm. It was awesome.
I don't know how you guys didn't get more shit living there, because like
we did get in shit that time. That's the story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so one night after blowing things up all night, like we would do this every night for weeks, and it was so much fun.
Just text each other when you're getting off work, just like, yo, we blowing shit up tonight?
Yeah. He worked in like a restaurant and get home super late, and he just messaged me at 2:30 in the morning, on my way, got some, hair gel or some shit. And I just responded, like, I'm on the stoop, man, I'm ready. So we would blow shit up, and then like you'd hear people screaming from the like apartment buildings around us, like knock that off and go to bed and all that shit. And one night we just like normally we blow a bunch of stuff up and then you like clean it up, have some decency. But then one night we made some type of like a burning effigy. I think we had like a Jesus statue or something. It involved Jesus. We set this thing on fire. And everything exploded, and it was all fun and games. But then we just didn't clean it up. Like, we just left it all on the sidewalk right in front of our house.
just burnt out.
Just
and
burnt.
Like,
just good night, guys. See you in the morning. And then the next morning, like, the police show up, and they're banging on the door.
Oh, man.
Hubley, surprise, surprise, was sleeping and wouldn't get out of his room. Look into that as much as you want.
That dude loves sleeping in.
Yeah, it's possible. But I also feel like he was avoiding something. So I had to go down, and the cops are like, what's going on? And I didn't give any thought to it, but right away I just went to, there's a frat house down the street, and they do this every night, and it's so annoying. Like, I just start spinning this yarn. And like the cop is like super stone faced, and I go through this whole story of like every night these fucking jocks, set off firecrackers in the front yard at like 4 a.m. They're fucking dicks. Like, I don't know what to do. When in doubt,
blame the jocks.
Yeah. And then the cop goes on to say like, yeah, that's a good story, except we talked to your other roommate and he says that you do it. This other fucking guy we live with threw me under the bus and didn't say anything.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Was he your friend?
Not anymore, he's not.
There was like 30 people living in that fucking house.
There were so many people. And he was like a pretty shy dude, and I don't know what his deal was. But where we come from, snitches get stitches. And this guy threw me under the bus to the cops. And then I go out and tell this awesome story that totally makes sense, and we would have got away with it. But then the cop was like, yeah, except, your other roommate already told me that it's you and this other guy, Brian Hubley, that are fucking blowing things. He named names, and then I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And they started, like, recording my information, like they're going to give me, like, a ticket or something. And then all this like radio chatter came on, like there was a real crime somewhere, so the cops all left, and then they just never came back. So
that's so awesome. That's like the best case scenario. I mean, I hope nobody died in that other accident, but like, at least it got you off the.
I got off, and I love when like you are getting in trouble by the cops, and it's something stupid, and you just want to say like, "Don't you have anything better to do?"
Yeah.
Like, you want to say that. And in this case, like, he had something better to do. He had to take off. And they just never came back. So, I think...
Did you ever confront the snitch? Or did you just
of course I did. Yeah, I just walked in right away. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you telling him stuff? And if you told him stuff, like, give me a heads up that you already fucking confessed. Like, don't send me out blind.
Yeah,
God damn it.
it's a lot different too, because like you're not like a bad guy either. Like if the guy, like if that guy was annoyed by you guys doing it and he was just like, hey guys, do you mind? Like knowing you and Hubley, both of you would have been like, yeah, sorry, we'll go down the street and blow shit up instead.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Oh man, that guy's probably fucking in an unhappy marriage right now somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's got to tell on somebody else because we stopped inviting him to stuff after that.
You can't come to the party at your own house.
All right, let's talk about Lamas. He looked awesome.
Yeah.
He
did.
Just like a tactile, like wore Elkins down. But Elkins is just tough as shit. His face was destroyed.
Dude, he can take a punch,
Yeah. Well, he could up until, 90 seconds left in the third round. And
he actually had more total strikes, 81 total strikes.
Yeah, he just walked forward like a zombie. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great fight. And the shitty thing was, I was trying to rewatch it because, like, sometimes when I'm watching the fights, I'm just so excited that, like, after I don't really remember exactly what happens because I'm just, like, shouting at the TV and acting out.
Yeah.
And then I tried to rewatch it and find it today, and I could find every other fight on this card except for that one for some reason.
What a bummer.
When you're trying to like rewatch them on YouTube, but then it brings you to like the video game version.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck,
Fight
man, I
bullshit.
don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hats off to Lamas. Is that how you say it? Lamas?
Yeah, Lamas.
Ricardo. Lamas. And what's his he has a good nickname too, right?
I don't know what his nickname is.
Because they don't tell you. Oh, they tell you before the fight, but they don't tell you after the fight on the website.
Oh, he's the bully Lamas.
Oh yeah, that's a good nickname.
That's a good one. He doesn't have a tattoo though.
There's a good nickname coming up on this next week's card. We'll get to that later though. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Let's move on to Magny and Ponzanibio. The gentle squeeze.
So do you think that Magny just didn't show up, or that Ponzanibio is just fucking that badass?
I think in a full backhanded compliment, I think that's all Magny has. Just the C-level effort.
See, I've seen him have good performances before, but I've never seen him do well in the first round. Like, I've never seen him do well in, like, really early.
I felt like reading his face the entire fight, he knew he had no chance, and he was just trying to survive.
Yeah.
He just had that look on his face from the beginning. Like, as soon as he took that first leg kick, he was just like, oh, no. Like, what am I doing here? All the way down in... Where are they? Argentina? Like, why did I come all the way down here for this? Like, he had nothing.
Yeah. On Ponzanibio's home turf.
Yeah.
Like, that's why what I was so excited about. There's nothing better than seeing a guy that, like you like and is a good fighter win in their home country or their hometown. Like, the crowd was going fucking nuts, man. It was like that's what that card needed to. Just, like, not that the fights weren't great. Like, most of the fights, like I find on a lot of these cards that maybe we could say we don't give a fuck about a lot of the time. Like, there's awesome fights on them, but that goes back to how they're promoted. But that was the fight that everybody wanted to see, and like that was what everybody wanted to happen, you know? So I love when that happens. So
the only thing I was gonna say that hurt that win, like, the crowd did go crazy. But from the first round, that was completely expected. Like, it was almost there was a big reaction, but it was like, yep, okay, it's over now. Like, there wasn't a surprise, like, knockout. Oh my God, he got him. It was just like a completely expected, like, I can't believe this took 4 rounds for you to finish this. Because Magny didn't do anything.
Yeah, he fucking left his jockstrap at home. Fucking guy.
Back to driving a bus.
And another thing about that, you mentioned this to me earlier on the phone, like, Ponzanibio's got to move up, and he's going to be fighting some A-level guys. But you really think you're going to get Woodley, buddy?
Yeah, like, who does he think he is?
I mean, he must have just had such a boner for fucking fighting at home that he was like, you know what? I'm shooting for the stars. I'm having a good night. Like,
calls out.
Hell yeah!
I could think he's still like ranked like 10th or something. Like he just got in the top 10. Like sit down.
He was 10 and Magny was 8. So maybe he moves up to 9. I don't know. These rankings are fucked anyway.
The rankings are fucked, but there's so many people ahead of him in line that.
But the rankings are the rankings were kind of set up for Fox. So I wonder if they're gonna change and get better for ESPN. Like I'm so excited for it to change over to ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel like there's just like, because ESPN's such a big it is the entertainment, like the sports entertainment channel. Like it's like the one that you say, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it was on ESPN if you're referencing anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool that the UFC is like finally there, like moving up from like fucking like no name channels and shit to like fully being on ESPN.
Yeah. And
so
I don't think it will ever happen, but if they could get away from fucking pay-per-views and be a real sport, I'd be really into that.
Yeah, man.
I just think it hurts that
something.
There's got to be a way to make money doing this that doesn't, like, there's just so many potential fans that will never watch it because it costs $60.
Well, football, I mean, I know that football is like the biggest thing in the USA or whatever, but like they have 16 games this season and it grosses so much in advertising dollars and everything. Like, if they could run something like that, especially with like the talent that they have behind them with the new owners, like they should be able, like things should be less fucky instead of more fucky now.
Yeah.
So hopefully ESPN can change it up a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think like, I mean, obviously we're sitting here talking about it, so whatever they're doing is great. But like there needs to be some sort of structure to it. Like it will never, like you said, it'll never be a real sport if there's no real structure to it.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be just like boxing. It's just like a novelty. I don't know. Boxing is sweet, but they're also a handful of fights a year. So that's what makes it kind of feel special. But like a goddamn UFC fight every weekend. Come on.
If there was one, let's say one big one, like one huge one a month, and then even just like a smaller card every other month, like that could be perfect, you know? Like there's 4 fights this month.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like they have they have too many fighters on the roster too. Like there's a lot of they're like, I'm saying like a lot. Sorry guys. But when you think about hockey or you think about football or everything, you watch college football and before you watch the NFL, you watch OHL before you watch, like, there's a lot of like little like feeder divisions, but UFC kind of needs like that, like underneath, like you come out and then like you get drafted or like or something like that. I mean, it takes at the same time it kind of takes away from these guys who pop up out of nowhere too. But I don't know. And there's a lot more. Sorry, I'm rambling, but there's a lot more that goes into this too. Like Conor McGregor wouldn't be Conor McGregor if he couldn't talk like Conor McGregor.
Right.
You know.
Right. But then you have like a GSP on the other end that never talked and is still super popular in his like original era, and he's still popular now. But like he doesn't talk shit. He's just got something about him. People want to watch him.
And the thing too is not even that exciting of a fighter. The way that he fought wasn't even the like very DC like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. It's such a weird sport. It's like I love it, but it's fucking kick ass. Who cares? Let's just hope it keeps getting better and bigger, and they can somehow minimize things a little bit.
Okay, let's move ahead to next week and Curtis Blaydes versus Francis Ngannou 2 from China. Another super international card.
Yeah, you're probably gonna actually get to watch that one at a decent time.
I'm fucking stoked for it. One of my favorite fights I've seen this year was when Bisping fought Gastelum in China over the summer.
It comes on that. Yeah,
that was last year, right? I was living in Iceland at the time. I remember waking up and like getting breakfast on a Sunday morning to watch the fight live. It was fucking sick.
Yeah. Well, this one I think is on at like 6 a.m. Our time, like Toronto time.
Yeah, it's like noon for me.
Yeah, so that's perfect.
Yeah, it's
man.
Sweet.
And, because then like you got like a perfect thing to do during the day, and then you can go. You're all amped up after the fights, and you can like go out and like you got that energy and everything. When like here, it's like if you don't go to the bar to watch the fight, you can't get to the bar barely for last call.
Yeah.
And then with you have to fucking like
starts at 4 a.m. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
but
I guess it makes sense for where the market is.
Yeah, I still think they could do it a little bit earlier. Like, there's no reason for the pay-per-views to start at like 10 p.m. Eastern time.
No,
it could start at 8. Like, there's no reason to wait so late in the night.
And it's on a weekend too. It's not like if it was on a Friday, it makes more sense because you have to wait for people to get off work. But people are just sitting around all day waiting to watch the fights anyways.
Yeah.
And then them ending at like 1:30, 2 a.m. here. It's just like, oh, sweet. Fuck. Now I'm all amped up from that sweet knockout. Time to go to bed.
Or it's not a sweet knockout and you're just nodding out through the whole fight.
Yeah. So where do you want to start on this one?
I think we got to start with trying to say some of these fucking names.
Okay, so I'm thinking we start at the 4th fight, Li Jingliang.
I think that's
versus David
Zawada.
So Li Jingliang, he had a huge knockout on that card that you just mentioned with Bisping last time in China, and the crowd went absolutely nuts.
Do you remember his nickname?
He's a fan favorite.
Do you remember that nickname?
The Leech?
The Leech. What a sick name.
Versus Saget?
Yeah.
Bob Saget?
David
the Leech
Saget.
versus Bob Saget.
The Leech, Jingliang.
So who do you got in this
I gotta go with
man?
the Leech, man. That was a fucking cool name.
Hell yeah. Hometown hero?
Yeah. You gotta. And he's got, good photo on the website, some abs.
Yeah.
Everything I'm looking for.
Like a real fighter's face too.
Oh, he's got a face only a mother could love. He's real upset. Not a big forehead
maybe not
either.
Even that. No. A little bit of a widow's peak too.
Yeah, we like him. Okay, let's see some action. The Leech.
Come on, Leechy.
This is my favorite fight coming up here due to nameage. We got Song Yadong versus Vince Morales. No photo for
No
Vince, but
photo.
Song Yadong.
So we gotta go with Song
You
Yadong
gotta go
on
with
this
Song
one,
Yadong,
man.
of course. What a cool name.
So that might be one of the best. That might be the best name in the UFC. Song Yadong.
Song Yadong. They both sound like nicknames. You don't need a nickname when you got Song Yadong.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking true champion. 12-3-0. Two notice what is that? What does 2 NC mean?
2 no contests.
Oh,
So
okay.
either he was on the drugs or someone he fought was on drugs and they had to like cancel it.
Yeah, I hope it was him.
I don't know.
I'm a
12-3.
fan of people who take steroids.
I'm into steroids, yeah.
huge fan of steroids, which brings us to our next one.
Yes.
The man, look at that picture. Like, his body is not that anymore.
No.
Like, ever since they cracked down on the roids, and okay, so we're talking about Alistair Overeem. we just like hopped into that one pretty fast.
Everyone knows who. We're talking about the roids.
Yeah, at least on the YouTube you have the pictures coming up,
Yeah,
so we're not like completely like, when you listen to a podcast and like you can tell they're looking at sweet photos and you're just like, God damn it, I'm like just listening to it. At least with the YouTube you can see Alistair sweet abs. And then so we got Alistair Overeem versus Sergey Pavlovich. So I did a little bit of research on old Sergey.
Because there's
Sergey,
nothing on the UFC website.
He's a former champion in, I think it's called Fight Night Global.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of his fights. He's just like, I mean, Alistair should win this, and like, I think people are thinking that Sergey's getting thrown to the wolves with Alistair here, but like, Alistair has been like on a real like up and down, and it seems like his chin's going like a bit glass.
Yeah,
but
he's not
like Sergey has no style, or has like there's no method to his madness. Like, this should be a brawl.
Yeah, I'm just Googling Sergey real quick, and he kind of has like a dumpy Fedor look.
Yeah, no, he reminded me just like that, except for after he wins, he celebrates like crazy. He gets super excited.
Well, in that case, I think I got to go with Sergey. I want to see a big, crazy cartwheel or
Russian
something.
celebration.
Yeah.
I never realized until now that Alistair Overeem's nickname is the Demolition Man. Respect on that.
It used to be the Ream, I think.
Yeah, it did used to be the Ream.
Yeah.
The fuck? Can you do that?
I guess so.
Well, if you change it to the Demolition Man, I'm gonna let it slide.
Yeah, Demolition Man's pretty sick.
I'm gonna take okay, I really think Alistair should win this fight, just judging by the other guy's fighting style. Like, Alistair has way more technique.
Yeah.
And has been in way higher level fights, but the other guy, Sergey, is it Sergey?
Yeah,
Sergey, right? He's just an absolute madman. So I'm going with Sergey on this one too, man. Let's see a crazy Russian celly.
I just want to see some new blood in this heavyweight division. Like, Alistair's sick, but like, he's been around for like years now. I remember he fought like Chuck Liddell in Pride, like so long ago.
He's fought everyone.
Everybody.
He fought everyone in K1, and then now he's fought everybody in the UFC. Like, it wasn't that long ago that he was fighting Stipe for the title.
No.
So
he's been around forever. He's great, but it's just the heavyweight division is just like constantly
it's
reruns, which brings
too
us to our
shallow.
fucking main event: Curtis Blaydes and Francis Ngannou 2.
I'm
And
fucking excited for this
I'm excited,
one, dude.
but didn't they fight like a year ago? Like they're already at a
Yeah,
rematch?
well, but that fight ended because doctor stoppage.
Yeah.
Because Blade's eye was shut, but Blade kept saying that he could fight, but the doctor stopped it. So, and the fight was actually going pretty good, but a lot of people are giving Francis a hard time about his last fight because it was the worst fight of all time ever.
Yep.
But before that, everybody had a gigantic boner for him. So, like
I still like
us
him.
UFC. I
I'm
love him,
I
man.
still like him. I think
Uh,
Stipe kind of like showed him, as DC says, there's levels to this thing. And then
mm,
he just looked like shit in his last fight, but you can't unsee what he did to Alistair Overeem. Like he almost broke that guy's neck with an uppercut. That was crazy.
yeah, that's what like that and um our boy El Pantero from a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago are like the two craziest knockouts ever.
Yeah.
And his nickname is the
The
Predator.
Predator.
I wonder if he like if that's not as weird in France as it is here. Because that's a fucked up
That's a
nickname.
fucking Chris Hansen nickname right
And
there.
and Curtis, you gotta go with Razor if your last name's
Yeah,
Blade.
of
You
course.
you got to.
What a cool last name, especially spelt with a Y.
I cannot see this fight ending in a decision. Unless Curtis Blade just wrestle fucks him the whole time, but I think if he gets him to the ground, like he's other than DC, he's probably like the best grappler in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, more than Stipe. Stipe's legit.
Maybe yeah, Stipe is legit, but I mean, what Blade did to Hunt was just like
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
I love
But
Hunt, but
he
he's got no grappling skill though.
no, and he took some of those big Hunt bombs.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, nobody punches like Francis.
He took a bunch of those Francis bombs already too, and the doctor stopped it. Like Curtis
Yeah.
Razor Blades hung in there.
Fuck, I don't know who I got in this one. And Francis said the funniest thing. He said that his ground game is better than Blades. In that 2-minute snippet promo that they did for this entire fight card, one of the things that Francis said was, "My ground game is better."
That might
I
be
was just
like,
like,
I know that before Francis became a fighter, he was like digging ditches in Nigeria or something. So maybe that's like a translation thing. Like he knows the
"Oh
ground better.
yeah."
Maybe he's very literal. No, I know the ground better than him. I dug
Yeah.
ditches. Give me a shovel, I'll
This
show
is a
you.
hard one to pick, man, because I want to see Francis get that crazy. I like both of these guys a lot. But yeah, I mean, fuck, Francis has such a weird attitude. I think he's such an interesting character. So I gotta go with Francis on this one. But if Blade comes through with like a pretty sweet, if he comes through with like a knockout or like a cool submission, I'll be so stoked too. But I gotta go with my boy Francis on this one.
Yeah, I'm also picking Francis. I think we picked the same on all this card.
This might be the first time that we've agreed on everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess I'm probably gonna get them all wrong
Yeah,
this
I think
week
you
because
got
I'm
them all.
wrong.
You might get two right. I usually get two, one or two. Do you want to talk about
uh,
Tito and Chuck before we wrap this up? That fight's also this weekend.
yeah, let's. What I want to hear your take on it, and I'll tell you what
Um,
I think.
I feel like Tito and Chuck are one of the reasons why I fell in love with UFC. I think it was the lead up to their second fight, specifically. No, was it the second fight? No, I think it was the first fight. I don't remember. I think it was the first fight. It was, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that. I have no respect for Tito. The guy's a bum.
I hate him. I hate him. But I heard him on someone's podcast the other day. Maybe he was just pretending to like his kids. But
yeah, I think he
was talking about picking them up and dropping them off from school and shit. But he's a huge Trump supporter, which doesn't win over a lot of people.
I remember, I think it was when he fought maybe Ryan Bader. There was like one of those UFC All Access deals. And it was just him being followed around by a bunch of fat white dudes, and they went fishing. And it was like allegedly they were all friends from high school, and they looked up to Tito so much, and they all called him T. Like, they didn't even say Tito, they just called him T. Like, oh, you gonna get him this weekend, T? And he's like, yeah. Like, it was so pathetic. Tito just surrounding himself with these, like, mouth-breathing lummoxes to, like, boost his ego. It was so sad.
He just hired friends.
Yeah, it looked a lot like that. And they went fishing and shit. And it's like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, this is my crew since day one. We went to high school together. And it's like, yeah, definitely get new friends.
They're probably in a frat together and shit, too. And, like, did weird shit to each other. Yeah, you know how in the States, like frat guys roofie each other and then do weird shit like that.
Don't you and your friends do that?
Roofie each other?
Don't you and your friends like fucking like make out with each other when you're like passed out or something? Am I totally making that up?
I think you have some misinformation. That's awesome.
I got some misinformation. Awesome. I thought there was like some story about like someone passes out and then that makes them gay if they get kissed or something.
Nah, man. That's awesome.
I've heard some weird stories about your friends.
About me?
No, about your friends in the garage crew.
Yeah. Some wild guys. But no fucking kissing each other while they're passed out. Shit ever.
Like, okay,
that's awesome.
I don't remember any names, but I could have swore the story was like if some dude passes out, like you kiss him, and then you wake up and tell him how gay he was for like kissing dudes.
That sounds like a fucking sick game. That sounds like a Tito game.
That does sound like a Tito game, and it is a really funny game.
That's
to play.
Definitely not a 2018 appropriate game.
No, God, no.
Sure. I don't think that's an ever appropriate game. No. Do you think this fight needs to happen?
Absolutely not.
Chuck fucked Tito up both times.
Yeah.
And like I watched this like YouTube series of Chuck like climbing a mountain. And, like, he had so much heart, but he did not look good. Like, he did not look like he was in great shape.
No, he looked terrible.
Like, hopefully he's on the juice. Hopefully they're both on the juice right now. And, like, they're both going to be in fantastic shape. But, I mean, I'm taking Chuck by knockout.
I would just be so heartbroken if Tito won. Because I think Tito will win because, like, although Tito sucks, like, he's been active and fighting for the last 10 years. Chuck hasn't done shit.
Yeah, he just beat Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
And Chael Sonnen has just won big fights in Bellator recently.
Yeah,
so, like,
he beat Rampage.
Yeah. So, I mean, fuck. I don't know. I think it's actually kind of a greasy move on Tito's part to want this fight so bad. Like, he wants to be like, I won the last one. But, like, you got your ass kicked when you both were like in your prime. Like you're not like, and also like Tito's really in cahoots with Golden Boy, and we all know how the judging goes in those Golden Boy promotions. Like the Triple G fight, like
I feel
how.
It's
we watched that
Golden Boy
together,
sucks.
didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We were just like, what happened?
What happened?
Just such an like I have no respect for that organization.
I think
like,
Tito's gonna win this by submission, just due to like he can't actually finish Chuck, but Chuck is so out of shape that Tito's just gonna like smother him and get like a shitty rear naked choke or a shitty guillotine, and Chuck will just tap out due to being tired.
I'm going Chuck by first round KO.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
I have to go, like, I'm such a hater of Tito that I think that's what's gonna happen. Fuck it. That's what's gonna happen.
First round?
First round KO, like an awful KO. And then it's gonna be one of those classic Iceman celebrations too. Like where he puts his arms out and runs around the ring.
The best part.
Yeah, him and Bisping have a very similar fucking celebration, and they're both great. They're both legends.
Bisping's just got so much more like lack of class that I love him so much. He's gonna sit on the top of the cage, whip his mouth guard into the crowd, scream "fuck you" and point at somebody, probably the other corner.
Ask Luke Rockhold if he even knows where he is right now after he knocks him out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
So awesome.
He's so funny. He's coming back. He's coming out of retirement for sure. He can't stay
part of me wants it so bad, but I just don't want to see him lose.
Yeah. As a huge fan, like he got pretty lucky with that title win and beat old Henderson. So like he shouldn't be fighting, anywhere near a title if he comes back. But I want to see him fight Luke Rockhold or Yoel Romero just because there's so much beef and so much shit talking.
Yeah, him versus Romero would be sweet, but like, fuck, man, that's a tough one for him.
Yeah, he has no chance. But against Rockhold, like that would be a good fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see him against Rockhold. I'd love to see it, and I'd like to see like a greasy Weidman type win and by Bisping, and then like an awful celebration after, like just like the most gutless celebration.
Yeah, just like take the gloves off, leave them in the ring, wave goodbye, like make it crystal clear he's retiring for sure this time.
Yeah, and just like on the mic, just like, well, I beat that asshole again. I can finally get out of here. Like something like that. And for like my dad's from Scotland and all my family is from Scotland. So it's very like unusual for me to cheer for anybody from England. But Bisping's too cool to not.
He's the coolest.
He's the coolest. One more thing I want to touch on. You think Conor McGregor fights Cowboy Cerrone?
No. I don't think I think it's too soon. Conor's in such a weird place with like his level of fame is so much higher than I guess his rank right now. That like I think Cerrone would be a good fight, but I think it's gonna be Diaz. Like Diaz has been like fucking around. Will he? Won't he fight?
I think I could see Cowboy versus. I think Cowboy is a better matchup for McGregor than Diaz. Yeah. And then either way, I see that fight happening, and then him fighting Diaz. Well, that fight happening, and then he fights. If he beats Cowboy, he fights for the title again. If he doesn't, he fights Diaz. And then if not, okay, so I'm breaking this down wrong. If he beats Cowboy, he fights for the title between Khabib and Tony Ferguson.
Yep.
If he loses, he just fights Nate Diaz and then retires. If he does win that title, then he faces Diaz for the title, then retires. I don't think we see more than 3 fights out of Conor, but I'll give you a curveball here. I might, I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth because Conor McGregor's the reason why I love UFC so much and all his shenanigans and everything, but I might be cheering for Cowboy in that fight.
Yeah.
I'm such a fucking Cerrone fan, man. He's just like
Cerrone hasn't accidentally thrown a dolly at a bus or anything cool like that.
I know, that's so fucking rad. I think at the end of the day, I'll have my Ireland jersey on and I'll be cheering for Conor. But that is will be the toughest fight for me to pick ever.
I feel like, no disrespect to Cerrone, like I love that fucking guy, but it's just such a step down in name for Conor that it doesn't. Like if Conor's not fighting for a title, I think he needs a fight that's like an oh my god, like we're gonna see that. Like I think he's just at that level that just fighting a regular like top 7 guy like is just. It's interesting to me and you, but like the average person, I don't know. Cerrone is close to that level, though.
I think Cerrone's a bigger fight for the fans than and like especially with the build-up.
Yeah.
Like, and they've had talk back and forth before than Conor going and fighting Aldo again.
Yeah.
Like, I really think it is. I think that in terms of like what's going to be a good stand-up fight and like what is the biggest name with a guy that he might be able to get through with just like he's got so much other shit going on right now. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's training like crazy and everything, but I think what's a better fight out there for him? What do you think's a better fight than Cowboy?
I could see him fighting, like I said, Nate Diaz for the trilogy, George St. Pierre.
GSP would be a good one.
Yeah, I think it's just that he's at that level of like.
Yeah.
Even, I don't know.
I want to see him have one more fight before he fights Diaz. And I want to see Diaz have one more fight before he fights
that's
Conor.
what I want. I want to see Diaz fight again because he isn't that great of a fighter.
No, but he's the man.
The man, like he's just all personality.
I was as pumped for. I was probably more pumped for him versus Poirier than DC versus Lewis, man.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was so pumped for, and I didn't get why they like when that was named that wasn't a main event. Like, I think that for some reason, like people still underestimate the fame of the Diaz brothers.
Yeah,
like they really are like almost household names, you know. Not to like, they're definitely bigger names than anybody else that we've mentioned.
Yep.
Other than Conor.
Yep. I feel like I was really excited for that fight too because I know that Dustin Poirier is legit, and he needs like
I like him a lot.
He needs
too.
A catapult like that to put him in the like title picture. Because everyone in that division is so fucking sick. Like, how do you even get up that ladder? And a win over Diaz would be like, okay, he's next in line after, whoever, Ferguson or whatever happening there.
The problem with that division is it's like you say that like Conor's weirdly ranked, that it's just like he's always going to get put into those fights, and that's what kind of screws up the division.
Yeah.
Because it's like, but he has to be in those fights because that's what people want to see.
And he was the champion. He never lost it. He got stripped. Yeah.
Yeah, and like he deserved the title. Like, I mean, he did skip the line at 155, but he ran through the 145-pound division.
And he ran through Alvarez. Like, he made that look easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and the Diaz fights were awesome at 170 too.
Yeah.
Like I think Connor's actually an underestimated fighter. I just think like nobody's gonna beat Khabib. You know?
No. I think Ferguson will come close, but Khabib is something different.
Yeah, I don't like him. John Jones in DC are like shit that like you don't see ever. You know?
I also have a lot of high hopes for Kevin Lee. I think that guy's going to be the future.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
if
great.
they put that 165-pound division in, then he could be the champion there.
Yeah.
I think the cut's too hard for him at 155. I think they need that 165-pound division because then it really evens out this whole problem they have with 155. And there's guys, if that happens, there's guys from 145 that can move up, and then 135 move up, and then like it levels out all those guys who are gone from the 125-pound division. Like that really like would stack things in the right direction, and I hope that's like part of their game plan with like if there is kind of a pyramid to it to getting rid of the 125-pound.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
I agree. Totally.
This all speculation. This is definitely our most serious episode, other than when you accused me of having friends make out with each other while they were passed out. I'm gonna have to look into that.
You have to look into that. I
Yeah,
swear I heard that story.
That's rape. Anyways, brother, you want to wrap this up? You got anything else you want to get off your chest?
Just thank you for listening. You can check out my other show, Pretty Much Experts. Every week we have a new show out, and there'll be one out on Thursday this week. Every Thursday.
Any highlights from this episode? Because I haven't listened yet. Or last week.
Last week, I don't even remember what
Did you talk about the puking of the alleged puking of your brother?
No, he of course didn't bring that up. He does not like to talk about allegedly puking in beds or anything cool like that on that show.
I told him at our dodgeball game the other day that we mentioned it on our podcast, and he barely cracked a smile.
He's not impressed. He allegedly mentioned.
He probably hates our show.
For our other show, like we put out the full YouTube version of like the full like hour and a half conversation, and then if I have time, like I'll go back in and I'll grab like 2 or 3 minute clips of the best parts. And just post them just because it's easier to get like people to watch like a 2 minute clip than a 1.5 hour video.
Yeah.
And there's a story, I think it's from last week, which is a good highlight, Stu, of one time when my brother and Mike were hitchhiking and they got so fucking drunk because they bought like a 12 box and they're going to like hitchhike and get home. But then like nobody picked them up, so they just drank the whole box walking. And then they like stopped on the side of the highway to take a piss. And as my brother's pissing, like a car pulls up to like pick them up. And they got so excited that my brother fell down into the ditch and then just pissed all over himself.
Did the ride still take them?
No, the ride took off and just like left them in the dust. So I told him, like, awesome. You know, to troll him that I'm going to rip that 2 minute story out and put it on Facebook and like paid advertising, like boost that. And the reaction was just like so unimpressed that I even brought it up.
But you guys are getting some good views out there.
I think our last week's episode was the highest like YouTube video yet in like 1 week. It's like 150 or something.
When when you okay, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You're coming home for Christmas, right?
No, probably not.
Ah, fuck, man.
I
I was
like it
hoping
here,
that
man.
we could just like yeah, true. Well, I've been drinking a lot of cream soda lately. What
Okay.
color is the cream soda? And you're in Romania, right?
Yeah.
What what color cream soda do they have
They don't
there?
have
Because
that here.
apparently it's not pink anywhere else. It's
It's
white.
white. Yeah, it's white in most places, but they don't have it here.
Shout out to Crush Cream Soda.
Yeah, yeah. Jones cream
Sponsor of the
soda is white
podcast.
and it's delicious.
Fuck that, man.
You
I
don't
had
fuck
one
with
the other
Jones cream
day.
soda?
It was way too sweet.
Yeah, it's so good.
Way too sweet.
I might
It's
come back at the
I,
end of December though. Like it's cheap to
okay. When you
fly like
come,
right before New Year's Eve, so I might do that. But looking at like the
when you
tickets and shit to fly like mid-December, it's like no way.
yeah, when you come back, we'll do like we'll get a full like video. You all you fans out there will finally get to see our faces.
Yeah.
I'll get my whole spare room set up sick, and we'll get the lovely Sheena Glenn to video it. She's got a bunch of GoPros and stuff, and we'll do like a few episodes, and like maybe we could do a collab with your other
That'd be a
podcast,
fun
and
one.
maybe and even have some like get Hubley on there to tell his side of some of these stories, or like or some or maybe someone who was part of this alleged makeout prank on to fucking
He's
tell their side of the story.
allegedly the brother of your tall friend. Allegedly.
All right, well, I'm going to investigate this one. I don't know. I'm going to see if I'm allowed to talk about it if this is
Allegedly,
a thing.
allegedly.
All right, you want to... one more thing. So on every episode, we've repped the app Tag In Sports. I'm part owner in it with my friend Vince. We gotta have Vince on too because we told some stories about him last week. But if you live in the GTA, we got some dodgeball tournaments coming up. Breaking news: there's one December 15th, and it's gonna be sick. We're gonna have games and food, and it's gonna be like a mix between like a fucking fair and a dodgeball tournament.
Damn.
So keep your eyes out for that. I'll be posting it on everything on our Tag In social media, and on the next episode, we'll put links below. So if you're in the area, you can come check it out because it's going to be a blast. So if you want to fly in, RJ, we could podcast there.
That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be a sweet live commentary on some dodgeball.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be funny, man. I keep calling this a podcast, but we're a YouTube show.
It's a YouTube show. We're sports
Yeah,
experts.
We're still trying to figure out what we are, but
we will be back next week, though.
I think we're gonna keep coming back next week, whether you guys listen or not, because we need to talk. We need to get this shit off our chest.
Like
we got to get it off our chest.
I think somewhat like 50 people or something tuned into last week's show. Like that's pretty sweet.
Fuck, that's insane because like
we didn't advertise at all.
That's people I don't know because nobody's been like, "Hey, Stu, I heard your podcast," or "I heard your YouTube show."
No, those are just like total YouTube strangers watching our fucking conversations, allegedly.
All right, for next week, if any listeners want to, if you're in a band or anything and want to send us some music that we can use for free to open and close the. If it's good, I mean, if it stinks, we probably won't use it. But if you want to send it in, we'll go through some songs, and me and RJ will pick something because I feel like what I mean, your podcast is like your other one is like just so much fun, and the band that you guys have on there is fucking like it gets me so hyped every time.
Fucking great
I
song.
really want I'm really jealous of that. So.
Yeah, Frontline Fiesta.
If you're
my old roommate, love that guy.
Shout out Sean Hansen. So yeah, if you have any music, send it over and we'll try and put it at the start and the end. Because we need a theme song. Maybe we'll come up with a jingle.
We need a jingle. Okay, we're dudes on dudes, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.